Okay. Okay, so I think that means that I get to launch in. I'm just going to find my screen. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Not sure who's out there precisely, but I know people will be checking in after the fact anyway. So this is Simon Schuster Fall 2021. Just as a reminder that my presentation has just the trade paperback editions, but sometimes there are simultaneous hardcovers for your libraries, and those are in the digital links and the order forms. Otherwise, I'm going to launch in with starting with the promotions for the season, beginning with our traditional trade paperback fiction. For this one, you're looking for either 6 titles of 5 copies for plus 3%, or 10 titles of 5 copies for plus 5%. And then once you hit either of those tiers, then you can add 1s and 2s of the other titles and still get the discount on those as well. Okay, starting off with a big Canadian title. It's original trade paperback. This is the second mystery from our former Supreme Court Justice of Canada. First one was a huge success for us, was nominated for an Arthur Ellis Award, and this one features the same defense attorney, but it is a standalone read. This is a big make title for us. We do have simultaneous editions. It is a gorgeous book, gorgeous package even, that's sort of like Mexican Gothic meets House of Spirits, all about this very magical family and inheritances that are passed down through the ages. So it's got a bit of a circus element to it, a strong family element, great for book clubs. The Silence, this was in hardcover previously. We all know Don DeLillo. This is a very sparely written novel. It's all about 5 people in the aftermath of a tragedy. Cuyahoga, this was previously in hardcover. This is a debut novel. That's sort of a tall tale set in the 1930s. Got great reviews, very sort of Kevin Barry-like, or I would compare it to the Sisters Brothers. The Fortnight in September is original trade paperback. This is actually a rediscovered book from the 1930s, a really feel-good read about a family vacation at the seaside. Has been an international bestseller back in the 30s, and we're hoping to make another one today. It has a Kazuo Ishiguro quote on the cover. The Camera Project was previously in hardcover. This was commissioned by New York Times Magazine right as COVID hit. So of course it's based on Boccaccio's Decameron, but it's got stellar contributors like Margaret Atwood and Tommy Orange, all sort of writing their COVID related stories. And it does have wood carving illustrations throughout. The Book of Magic, this has simultaneous editions, so original trade for Canada. This is actually the conclusion to the Practical Magic series, and there is an HBO television series coming. Persephone Station was previously in hardcover, one of my favorite packages of the season, and this is has been described as the Mandalorian meets Kill Bill set in space. So it's a feminist sci-fi thriller. Dark Horses was previously in hardcover. This is another excellent book club choice. This is about an aspiring Olympic equestrian having to put up with her father's incestuous advances. Very well written. Rhapsody was previously in hardcover. This is ideal for fans of The Paris Wife. This is about George Gershwin and a love affair that he had. Last Dance of the Debutante. So Julia Kelly has been hitting the Globe and Mail and Toronto Star bestseller list for the last 4 previous books. This is another gorgeous package, historical fiction that's about the last 3 debutantes presented to Queen Elizabeth II. Faye Far Away was in hardcover previously to this, and this is a time travel tearjerker that's all about a girl going back in time to visit the mother she never knew. Anticipation, this is original trade paperback. This has been described as Diana Gabaldon meets Dan Brown, and this is a thriller set in a crumbling Greece. So Infinite Country was a sleeper hit for us in hardcover, was selected as a slew of celebrity book club choices. It's a really strongly, beautifully told immigration story. New package for the trade paper. The Appointment was previously in hardcover. This is a sparely written novel that's stream of consciousness about a woman's visit to her therapist. It's very darkly funny. It's extremely unique and interesting. I loved it, and I love the package as well. And then Lisa Jewell is back again. She's hit the bestseller list with all of her previous books, and she just seems to get better and better with each new release. We have a simultaneous hardcover, and this is about the disappearance of a child. What Could Be Saved? This has been ousted as a good read for Anne Patchett fans or Barbara Kingsolver fans. It's basically a sister story about the disappearance of a boy in the 70s who reappears when they're adults and the ramifications of that. The Charm Offensive is original trade paperback. So this is a queer love story that's set on a reality dating show. It's a feel-good read. And then Janet Ivanovich is back. This is the 28th Stephanie Plum. There's a simultaneous hardcover. And Vince Flynn is back again, simultaneous hardcover. And this is another Mitch Rapp military thriller, 500,000 copy first print. 8 Perfect Hours. This is original trade paperback. This is our author of Dear Emmy Blue that got some lovely attention. It's a feel-good read about 2 strangers meeting on a snowy night, and then it unveils itself that they're not actually strangers. It's a good seasonal romance. And Everything We Didn't Say. This is original trade paperback, and I would compare it to Leanne Moriarty, so strong domestic suspense. We've done well with her previous books. And the last one on the list is Against the Loveless World. This was previously in hardcover, and this follows a young Palestinian refugee as she slowly becomes radicalized. Again, great for book clubs. They've compared it to Pachinko. Okay, so those are your fiction promotion. For the fall, we're also offering a carton quantity promotion, so I'm going to run through those titles as well. 50% discount, and you can order these as often as you like up until the deadline, which is September 30th. And I would just send these orders directly to me so I can make sure that the discount is applied. So we start off with Praying to the West. Carton quantity is 20. This is one of our lead Canadian titles. He's a prolific writer. He's written for Maclean's and Canadaland and Rolling Stone and a bunch of others. He's also a documentary filmmaker. But this is his story about his relationship to the Muslim faith, which he has sort of shunned his whole life, and how after having children, he all of a sudden wanted to have more of that in his life experience. And so this is sort of like part memoir, part travelogue, part cultural history. And again, we're pitching it to all the literary festivals this fall, so expect a lot of events and exposure. The first Untitled one is going to be called Off the Record. It's the new Peter Mansbridge. Of course, we all know that Extraordinary Canadians was a massive bestseller last fall, but this time it's Peter telling his own stories, and he is a natural-born storyteller. So expect a lot of publicity. Carton quantity is 20. Leonard Cohen, so this is volume 2. You can all check your track record for the first volume. It did extremely well for us. This is another gorgeous package with photos throughout. 20 copy carton. No One Wins Alone. So this is bound to be the big hockey book of the season. It's a 20 copy carton. Of course, he's won 6 Stanley Cups, and he's also known as sort of a entrepreneurial motivational speaker, so good for the business market as well. Good leadership stuff. The other Untitled on the list is Rupi Kaur. Carton quantity for this is 32. I believe this is going to be a special hardcover edition of Homebody, though sometimes Rupi Kaur decides to do something slightly different in the end, so it might have added poems as well. I'm not too sure. So we're now into the US titles. Carton quantity for Cloud Cuckoo Land is 10 copies because it's a big, chunky book. This is bound to be our big title of the season. It's a gorgeous gift with gold detail on the cover, beautiful end papers, Of course, he's the Pulitzer Prize winning author of All the Light We Cannot See. This is an incredible saga that's all about the importance of stories passed down through the generations to give strength in troubled times. There's also a bit of an environmental message. It's just incredible. Expect a lot of review attention. I would compare this to David Mitchell's Cloud Atlas. World War C, current quantity is 20. Of course, he's the best-selling author of Keep Sharp. He's a big go-to person for the media on health issues. And this time he's answering all our questions about COVID that have gone unexplained to date. So again, expect a ton of publicity for this. David Copperfield's History of Magic, current quantity for this is 10. This is going to be a really cool, almost coffee table book filled with photos and illustrations, sort of featuring top magicians and top artifacts and talking about the different tricks and stuff. So it's really neat gift for the holidays. I've been told he makes more money than Taylor Swift, which is kind of cool. Still working. The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. This is a really neat book. This is for your literary types, for fans of Eats, Shoots, Leaves. It's based on a popular website where they create words to describe emotions for which there are no words. And then there's sort of lengthy definitions for these. So this will be a really cool cover again with some gold detailing. Nice gift for your wordy type. Carton quantity is 20. Stanley Tucci's Taste, again, carton quantity is 20. This is going to get a ton of publicity, of course. Of course, he's known as a popular actor, but he's also a big foodie. He's being hailed as the next Anthony Bourdain. He has several cookbooks to his name already, which we will be resoliciting this season as well. So this is his travels through the food world, around the world. He also suffered from oral cancer last year. So this is his experience. He lost his sense of taste. But he has recovered now. Vegan at Times, current quantity for this is 12. Jessica Seinfeld has had 4 previous best-selling cookbooks. This is going to be a gorgeous full color package. Great recipes that are so delicious you won't even know that they're vegan. And of course, she'll fetch a lot of publicity as well. Susan Orlean is back. Popular New Yorker contributor. Of course, the library book was a big bestseller last Christmas. This is a collection of all of her writings on animals throughout her career. And again, we're expecting it to hit a lot of best of the year lists. Carton quantity is 20. And then one children's title on here, 20 copy carton. This is our lead picture book. The Fan Brothers are from Toronto. And this is another gorgeous picture book that's bound to be a classic. That's all about a marble that falls from the sky, but it's a story of community and the importance of sharing. Just a reminder before I move on that we do still have carton quantity promo available for the Hillary Rodham Clinton and Louise Penny book. You can order the carton quantities as often as you like up until November 30th. So if it takes off when it releases and you need more, then by all means, just send your orders to me and I'll get them in the system. Okay, those are the promotions. So now I'm starting with the rest of the list. A couple of more Canadian titles remaining. Full disclosure is just a repackage that's going to have a similar look to the new book Denial. So of course you have a track record on this. Everyday Hockey Heroes. These have done really well for us at Christmas time. This is now in trade paperback. Again, you can just check your track record. These are stories by average Canadians across the country about their love of the sport. And then Rich Girl, Broke Girl, she's the go-to finance person for the Marilyn Dennis show. And this is targeting women trying to sort of ease their relationship with money, offers money plans and so just sort of ways of getting over your basic fears of finance. There is a large print edition of Cloud Cuckoo Land available if you have takers, maybe for the libraries. Just a reminder to bring in All the Light We Cannot See again, since there will be talk about Anthony Doerr. This is a nice gift for the holidays. This is a collection of Stephen King's novellas. So there's 4 in there. A Little Hope. This is 60,000 copy first print. This is ideal for fans of Olive Kittredge. It's about 12 residents in a small town facing everyday fears and desires. So there's a health diagnosis, there's a betrayal, there's a lost love. So that kind of a read. Apparently very life affirming, good for book clubs. Look for Me and I'll Be Gone. John Edgar Wideman is a master of the short story genre. He's about to be feted with the F. Scott Fitzgerald Lifetime Achievement Award, and this is a new collection that's coming out for his 80th birthday. She Come By It Natural is coming in trade paperback now. Sarah Smart is a National Book Award nominated author, and this is looking at gender and class through feminist icon Dolly Parton. Spy Masters coming in paperback. This is a co-pub with SNS UK. This is a behind-the-scenes look at the CIA and the future of surveillance and espionage. Apparently a very sobering read. So Red Roulette, I think, is going to be a big bestseller for us this season. It's 100,000 copy first print. I would compare it to Bill Browder's Red Notice, which we've done exceptionally well with. This is the story of a Chinese billionaire whose wife was literally disappeared. So it's a very incendiary look at the Chinese government and what they're capable of doing. For fans of that documentary, The Last Dance, that came out at the beginning of COVID and everyone was talking about, this is a look at the Boston Celtics of the 1980s and looking at their dominance of the sport. Great cast of characters. The Plague Cycle is coming in paperback. This is a vivid, sweeping history of mankind's battles with infectious disease. So while there is some COVID, it's not about COVID. They're comparing it to the Emperor of Maladies. Corruptible is 100,000 copy first print. This is the creator of Power Corrupts podcast, and he's a columnist for the Washington Post. And this is a revelatory look at what power is, who has it, and what it creates, based on over 500 interviews. Move, this is a 75,000 copy first print. This is looking at the powerful global forces that will cause billions of us to move geographically over the next 30 years. So he's actually predicting an era of radical change. And he also has the popular TED Talk, so he gets his word out there. Tim Marshall, he's again one of our perennial best-selling authors. This is a look at geography and how it affects politics. It will have maps throughout. These books always do quite nicely at Christmas. So 75,000 copy first print. This is our annual. This is edited by a US Poet Laureate, Tracy K. Smith. The Inland Island. This is actually a rediscovered book from the 1960s. This is a beautiful look at our connection with nature based on 1 year she spent on a farm, and it has beautiful sort of line drawing illustrations throughout. Every Deep Drawn Breath. This is 100,000 copy first print. This is a timely and urgent look at the devastating and little known effects of ICU stays. So looking at the hazardous effects of sedation and immobility. Cuba, this is going to be a super cool package. It covers over 400 years of history, looking at Cuba's relationship with the US. So expect lots of art and maps and color inserts. The Hidden Case of You and Forbes. This is a 75,000 copy first print. This should appeal to fans of Hidden Valley Road. And this is looking at an aristocratic Scottish trans man and his legal battles that sort of changed trans rights for decades to come. Apparently it's a really sort of colorful, interesting read. They said it sort of reads like it's in the period of Downton Abbey. And it has black and white photos throughout. Writing of the Gods, for all your people who love language. This is all about the race to interpret the hieroglyphics after the discovery of the Rosetta Stone. Print run is 75,000 copies. And there has been added interest in Vietnam after the Ken Burns documentary and Into Five Bloods. So this is a new historical survey of Vietnam, 50,000 copy first print. The Age of Wood is coming in trade paperback. This is by a British author, and it's a look at how wood shaped civilizations. And again, it also has line drawings throughout. It's a very global history. Kitchen-wise, this is the 4th in the award-winning series. This is the science behind cooking. It does also have 30 recipes. The Times I Knew I Was Gay is coming in paperback now. This is a full-color graphic memoir about coming of age, coming out, and sort of the awkwardness of queer life. She has come to the Toronto Comic Arts Festival in the past, so she does have a fan base here in Canada. Magic Lessons, this is just the US trade paper edition, replacing our Canadian original trade. It is less expensive. And the Maze, I did present this on the summer list, depending on where the book fair fell. So just, you might already have it on back order, but it is of course a big release, 500,000 copy first print. And this is about a string of grisly murders. And there's a simultaneous hardcover. Smile, this is one that I think is going to be a sleeper on our list. It's 100,000 copy first print. She is a brilliant woman, brilliant writer. She's a MacArthur genius. She's a 2-time Pulitzer finalist. And this is basically when she gave birth to her daughter, she had a bout of Bell's palsy, which paralyzed the bottom part of her mouth. And so she couldn't smile at her newborn child. And so this is her journey, sort of looking at how women are expected to smile all the time. I would compare it to Brain on Fire or Autobiography of a Face. Three Girls from Bronzeville. This would probably be the US rep's choice of big blockbuster for the season. They're very excited about this. It's a 75,000 copy first print. It's a riveting coming of age memoir about 3 Black girls and looking at how their lives are impacted by chance and choice. So it is a very timely read. It looks at the legacy of oppression. This Bright Future is by Bobby Hall, who's also a rapper known as Logic. He had a novel that came out years ago called Supermarket, which was a massive bestseller for us, sort of took us by surprise. So check your track on that one. This is actually his memoirs, and of course his troubled upbringing. His mom was a schizophrenic alcoholic, but he does have a very sort of upbeat, infectious vibe to it. So, and he'll get some publicity, and very cool cover. 200,000 copy first print. Eleanor is coming in paperback. It's got great reviews. Of course, she's a feminist icon. And Richard Grant is the British journalist now living in the US. You might remember God's Middle Finger did really well for us. And he's looking now at the deeply entrenched racism in the South. The Afghanistan Papers is 125,000 copy first print. This is looking at how 3 US governments deceived the public about the longest war in the US because they didn't want to admit defeat. So of course it covers the Bush, Obama, and Trump administrations, and Biden of course is the first president to say he's withdrawing the troops. So expect a lot of publicity, and the author is a 3-time Pulitzer finalist. The American Experiment, this is 100,000 copy first print. This is a blockbuster mega author, so he'll get attention, but it also has amazing contributors. You'll see some on the cover there. Paul Simon, Billie Jean King, Henry Louis Gates, Madeleine Albright. The Big Cheat, I know we're all dreadfully tired of Trump, but I think this one is going to have good pickup here in Canada as well. It's all about how Trump monetized his presidency. So we're all fascinated by his finances and how he's managing to bankrupt himself over and over and over again, and yet still be a billionaire. And this book is going to tell us how. This is the 10th anniversary edition. It's the only authorized biography. And of course, it's Walter Isaacson, who we all love. And Is This Anything coming in trade paperback? This again was a huge bestseller last Christmas. This is basically a biography told through his favorite comedy bits and has lots of photos throughout. So the autobiography of Gucci Mane did exceptionally well in the indie market, so check your track record. Again, he's a platinum selling recording artist. This book is basically his motivational principles for how to succeed at life. And apparently he's a big supporter of the power of hard work. And it's now paperback. Cary Grant also now in paperback. So looking at his work with Hitchcock and Marlene Dietrich. Apparently he was told that his mother was dead, but she was living in an insane asylum her whole life. So interesting stuff like that. This will be a cool gift for the holidays. So it is a full color package looking at the designs of Bob Mackie, who's still making regular appearances on RuPaul's Drag Race, which is fun. Obituaries. These are little obituaries of fascinating people throughout history, so entertainers and sports figures and politicians. He has a very popular podcast. And invention, this is 100,000 copy first print. Of course, this is the inventor of the vacuum cleaner, as well as the Dyson air conditioners and whatnot. So this is a look at his inventions now and what he's working on for the future. Apparently there were complaints. This is a 75,000 copy first print. This will be for fans of the Candace Bergen or Carrie Fisher biographies. Of course, she's known from her work on Cagney and Lacey and Queer as Folk. And this is her time in Hollywood and her life struggles as well. The Chancellor. So Katie Martin has got lots of Canadian connections, so expect some good review attention. This is, of course, about the popular German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who's sort of considered the anti-Trump right now. She's beloved the world around for her sort of very balanced politics, and she's about to leave. His very best now in trade paperback, looking at the humanitarian efforts of Jimmy Carter. And Tom Seaver now in paperback, of course, looking at the legendary pitcher from the New York Mets. How God Works. This is a 60,000 copy first print. He's a pioneering psychology professor, and he's looking at why religious practices are so beneficial to those who follow them. So this is religion through science. And No Filter actually did really well for us in hardcover, got great publicity. This is a look at Instagram and how they became a culturally defining app. So Cook Once Dinner Fix. This is 150,000 copy first print. There's tons of in-house fans for her. She was previously published through Victory Belt. These are basically how to use up every morsel of the food that you buy, so using up all your leftovers. They also did warn us that reprints will be difficult before Christmas, so to order up a bit more so that you have stock. Ready, Set, Cook. This is from the former food director at Real Simple. This is a secret playbook for getting food on the table fast. Has 125 recipes. Full color. So years ago, we used to publish these books that were based on a popular Twitter stream that were tweets from God, and they were all bestsellers. So it's been a big break, but now we have another one. So this is for your humor section. And of course, he'll cover, there'll be tweets from God about Trump and COVID. Between the Lines, this is like a Humans of New York for readers. So these are a collection of 150 inspirational stories from strangers on the subway. But there are some A-list contributors like Ta-Nehisi Coates and Gia Tolentino in here as well. There's also black and white photos. Monopoly Suck is now in paperback. This is looking at the harmful effects of places like Amazon and Google. Already Enough. This is a 50,000 copy first print. This is ideal for fans of Lori Gottlieb's Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. So she's a practicing therapist and an Instagram personality, And it's a handbook for how to reframe your life story. So it's all about self-acceptance and mindfulness. Coming out for New Year and New You promotions. Rude is coming in paperback now. So this is an exploration of the power of female rudeness and how to harness it at work, with your family and in relationships. It's quite chatty and funny. And Siri Hustvedt is back. So she is a incredibly brilliant woman, great writer. This is a collection of essays on a wide range of topics, from neurodiversity to feminist thought to art. She definitely has a fan following. The 9.9%, this is a 60,000 copy first print. This is an analysis of how the wealthiest people have created a growing inequality gap, and how no longer can you earn wealth, you have to be born into it. The Women I Think About at Night, beautifully written book. It's been an international bestseller. This is looking at 10 pioneering women who have sort of been lost to history from different areas around the world. So it takes you through Kenya, Japan, Italy, talking about the lives of these women. Bob Rotella is back. He's one of our best-selling golf writers, and he always writes about the psychology of golf. So this is all about focus and how to use it both in the game and in life. Hell and High Water. This is a 250,000 copy first print. He's the best-selling co-author of Game Change. And this is an intimate look at Biden's decisive win, both in the Democratic Party and against Trump. And then again, just a reminder that we have 2 TUCCI cookbooks. They did extremely well when they were first released. They're beautiful, full color. They're filled with stories about meals with his family. And then we're just re-soliciting them because of his new memoir. Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised. This is a 150,000 copy first print. He is an iconic NBA All-Star, and this is a raw, inspirational memoir about growing up in the projects. So it's a memoir about overcoming hardship and looks at youth sports. You Can't Be Serious. This is a 125,000 copy first print, a super well-written memoir by an actor, writer, and former Obama White House staffer. So this is hilarious life stories, very personal, just a ton of fun, and he'll get a lot of publicity. Backstory, this is a 100,000 copy first print. She was the 2019 TikToker of the Year. She's also a popular actress. Apparently she has 50 million followers. So this is life stories about self-esteem, anxiety, and bullying. None of us probably know who she is, but the teens and tweens absolutely will. From Staircase to Stage, this is a 50,000 copy first print. He's a rapper from Wu-Tang Clan. He's an infamous wordsmith. This is basically looking at his memoir about growing up impoverished, immersed in the drug world, and how they took on the music world on their own terms. So Tiger King, this is a 150,000 copy first print. I know we all know what hit the documentary was at the start of COVID, and there's also a film coming up on Amazon Prime starring Nicolas Cage. The Tiger King is still trying to set the record straight, even from prison. I know everyone's a little bit leery about this book. I would just like to say Duck Dynasty. No one believed Duck Dynasty was going to work, and we sold a bajillion. So this is our new Duck Dynasty without the ducks. You're Not Special. This is coming in trade paperback. She's a popular YouTube celebrity and actress. She stars on Freakish. And these are essays about growing up perfectly average. They've actually compared it to that movie 8th Grade that came out a couple of years ago that was so great. Craigslist Confessional, is original trade paperback. This is, again, for readers of Humans of New York. It's a collection of raw, urgent, heartfelt stories, all told anonymously. So they're kind of risky and out there, kind of a voyeuristic read. When Heaven Calls is coming in paperback for anyone who can sell Teresa Caputo. So he's a top medium in the US right now, and these are life lessons that the spirits have taught him. The Brothers, this is bound to be a bestseller again. It's a 100,000 copy first print. Christopher Anderson has got multiple best-selling biographies to his credit. This follows up where Diana's boys left off. So looking at the royal brothers as they enter marriage and fatherhood, and as one is approaching the monarchy and the other one is fleeing. Machiavelli for Women. This is a 75,000 copy first print. They're sort of calling this a lean in 2.0. And it's a playbook for women on how to understand and gain power in the workplace. More Monsters Know What They're Doing. This is a 100,000 copy first print. That previous book on the bottom, The Monsters Know What They're Doing, was a massive bestseller for us. So this is a playbook for dungeon masters for D&D. Gutter Mage, this is a 50,000 copy first print. This is a epic fantasy and hard-boiled noir, fast-paced tale of magic, mystery, and unruly behavior, and again has a nod to Dungeons and Dragons. Among Thieves, this is a fantasy debut, gorgeous package. This is a high-stakes heist novel set in a gritty world of magic and make-believe, a very diverse and inclusive read. They do think this has sleeper potential. The big one here is Ken Liu, The Veiled Throne. This has been a best-selling award-winning series. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but now it's a quartet, so the conclusion will come in spring 2022. We did sell 80,000 copies of The Grace of Kings. This is original trade, nice modern package, award-winning editor. The Vanished Queen, this is literary fantasy now in trade paperback. This is about a country held enthralled by a despotic king and the one woman who can take him down. Very classic fantasy. And The Russian Cage is now in paperback. This is the third in Charlene Harris's Gunny Rose series. It's been compared to True Blood. The Reckoning is a repackage. That's the second in the trilogy. Beautiful covers, and she gets compared to Anne Rice. This is an omnibus edition. So this is, again, a classic fantasy about shapeshifters. This is a legendary book from the 60s. This is now an illustrated version. So this is book one of the Elric saga. Richard Paul Evans is back. Of course, he's the best-selling author of The Christmas Box, and he's doing another beautiful, gifty book, inspirational seasonal story. It's going to be so beautiful. It will look wrapped from the get-go. 200,000 copy first print. And for anyone who could sell Amish fiction, simultaneous trade hardcover. West Side Story, again, we have simultaneous editions. This is a novelization of the popular Broadway musical because there's a film coming from Steven Spielberg, currently slated for December 10th release. This is the US trade paper edition, replacing our $24.99 Canadian edition, so it's slightly less expensive. Hit the Globe bestseller list. For your libraries, this is a 150,000 copy first print. This is the second in the Black Dagger Brotherhood Prison Camp series. This is a werewolf caught in a crime syndicate. And Out of the Rain, again, we have simultaneous trade hardcover editions. This is the follow-up to The Umbrella Lady. Again, it's a very sort of Flowers in the Attic kind of story, but much better covers on these, I must say. Star Trek Picard, of course, ties in with the hit TV series. That's original trade. Then we have a basic Star Trek trilogy. So we've got all three editions here. These, again, are original trade paperback with popular authors. And Halo, that, of course, ties in with the hit video game. Again, also has a readership, original trade. Every Star is Song, again, this is a relist, so you might already have it on back order. It's the follow-up to Every Sky a Grave. And this is a woman in space who can destroy planets with a single word. Wish You Were Gone. This is a 75,000 copy first print. She's a best-selling author of over 50 YA novels. This is a lead thriller for Gallery. This is ideal for fans of Netflix's Dead to Me. So it's a very sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of thriller. Clever and twisty. Crosswords always do well over the holidays. So Mike Rowe, this is now in trade paperback. He's kind of like the American Stuart McLean. So these are a collection of his favorite stories. Leave the Gun, Take the Cannoli. This is a 100,000 copy first print. This is another one that we're expecting to do quite well for us this season. It's the 50th anniversary of the making of The Godfather. There's a 10-part documentary film in the works. And this is a behind the scenes look at the making of the masterpiece. So everyone from the actors to the producers to the staff on hand. The Lie About the Truck. This is a Pushcart Prize winning author, and this is sort of a romp through the world of Survivor and reality TV, looking at the nature of truth. Believe It actually did surprisingly well for us in hardcover. It's a business book, which isn't usually a big category for us, but it did well. She's the founder and CEO of It Cosmetics that she sold to L'Oreal for billions of dollars. So this is an inspirational business story for women. She's sort of being hailed as the female Tony Robbins. And a repackage for Anne Rule, again, because we always seem to sell true crime at Christmas. And a reminder to bring in the library book again, since she has a new book this fall. Chris Wallace is back again. His previous book was a major bestseller for us. He is sort of a moderate Fox News personality. This is a day-by-day retelling of the takedown of Osama bin Laden in time for the 10th anniversary of his death and the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So expect a lot of publicity. And Making Numbers Count, it's Chip Heath. He's a multi-best-selling author. This is a clear, practical, first-of-its-kind guide to communicating and understanding numbers and data. So it spans all industries, and he's super connected, so again, expect publicity. Apparently, it's quite an accessible read. 200,000 copy first print. The Genius of Israel, they're expecting a bestseller of this one as well. It's a 200,000 copy first print. It's sort of the defining factors behind Israel's successful track record of innovation and how other nations can learn from them. Author is the best-selling author of Startup Nation. Gregory Boyle is back again. We had a huge bestseller in his first book, Tattoos on the Heart. He's written several since, which have done quite nicely. This is basically, he's a Jesuit priest, and he's basically worked with gangs for 30 years. And so this is what he's learned about faith and compassion through that work. He'll be donating all proceeds of the book. Garrett Graff is very popular with the media. You might remember Raven Rock and The Only Plane in the Sky. So this is just a new history of Watergate. And then Only Plane in the Sky is coming in trade paperback. So this is an oral history of 9/11. The Wires of War, this is a 100,000 copy first print. This is the former policy advisor at Google, and he's detailing the coming cyber war between Western democracies and Russia and China. The Dynasty was a bestseller for us in hardcover. This is a look at the New England Patriots and their dominance of the sport. And a nice gift for the holidays for any baseball fan. He's a popular sports writer, and he's chosen his 100 top players of all time and done little mini biographies, and we'll have black and white photos. The End of Craving, Mark Schatzker is a Toronto author. We did really well with his previous book, The Dorito Effect. This is a 75,000 copy first print. And this is looking at our dysfunctional relationship with food and how to fix it. So basically looking at processed foods and how it's damaged our health. Apparently it also has very accessible, practical methods to sort of deal with it. Singular Sensation, this is now in trade paperback. This is a insider's look at Broadway. Razzle Dazzle also did really, really well. He's an entertaining writer and again, beloved by the media. Moth in the Mountain got nice reviews in hardcover. A beautifully written story about a World War I pilot who survives the war but suffers from post-traumatic stress and decides to fly his biplane around the world. Apparently sort of a very romantic, adventurous story. Uncharted, this is a book that equips individuals and corporations with the tools to face our turbulent future, now in trade paperback, has a popular TED Talk. Resistance, this is now in trade paperback. So this is Tori Amos, the popular musician, and her call to find your voice and take action in the current political landscape. We Are Not Like Them. This is another one that I think could be a real sleeper on our list. It's 150,000 copy first print, really beautiful package. It's dual authored, and it is the story of a Black woman and a white woman who are friends and looking at their turbulent ups and downs through the years as they deal with different circumstances. So ideal for fans of Such a Fine Age or The Vanishing Half. The Selfless Act of Breathing. This is a 60,000 copy first print. We're going to be doing a big push to the indie market. This is about it's sort of called a Transcendent Kingdom meets a man called Uwe. And it's about a Congolese British Londoner who goes on one last adventure in the US before he plans on killing himself. Obviously, he changes his mind. It's a very uplifting read in the end, and movie rights have already sold. This is now in trade paperback. This is the US edition. Sorry, we did have a Canadian original trade. It's the 7th in the Fox and O'Hare series. And then Karen Kingsbury's back. She's our best-selling Christian fiction author. She gets compared to Jodi Picoult all the time. So Forgiving Paris is her new hardcover, 200,000 copy first print. And then Distant Shore is now in trade paperback. This Day's original trade paperback. This is the follow-up to the hit 365 Days, which was a hit movie on Netflix. And the movie of this will be coming out in spring 2022. So this is sexy romance. This is the US trade paper edition. This is the book that was described as The Crucible, set in modern days. And John Connolly is back. This is the 75,000 copy first print, beloved Irish author. It's another Charlie Parker thriller. And for your libraries, again, The Missing Piece, 150,000 copy first print. This is a legal thriller that deals with the Innocence Project. Where They Wait, this is a 75,000 copy first print. Scott Carson is a pseudonym for Michael Corrida. These are his supernatural fiction thrillers. I don't think I know what this book is about, but the previous one was called The Chill, so you can check your track record. '20th anniversary edition of Good in Bed, and apparently there's a movie in the works. History of Wild Places. This is another one I think could be a bit of a sleeper, definitely for the indie market. It's a 50,000 copy first print. She's a best-selling YA author. This is her debut adult fiction. They are doing an indie next push in the US. And this is about a peaceful commune where two outsiders go missing. They're comparing it to Renee Denfield. So it's looking at the nature of cults. Grave Reservations. This is a 50,000 copy first print. This is a funny, feel-good mystery. I would compare it to the Spellman Files. I love the package, and TV rights have already been snapped up. Thomas Keneally is back again. Of course, he's the Pulitzer Prize winning author, or the Booker Prize winning author of Schindler's List. And he has had sort of a spotty record over the years, but everyone is saying that this is truly back to form for him. A really incredible saga about Charles Dickens' son in the Australian outback. Really beautiful package with nice end papers and all that. So filled with romance and adventure. The Queen's Men, this is book 2 in the trilogy. Just a heads up that we published book 1 as a Canadian original trade paperback, and we're not doing that for book 2. That said, I mean, sales were pretty strong. It's been compared to Ken Follett. Again, there's also a movie in production. sort of a James Bond historical thriller. House Fires. This is Connor Franta. He's a best-selling YouTuber and social media personality. He's had 2 previous mega best-selling books. Pardon me. So this is more of the same. This is like sort of growing up, coming of age stories told through poetry, prose, and pictures. He is beloved. He's a big voice for the LGBTQ community. Expect a bestseller. This used to be Untitled. It's now called Unguarded by Scottie Pippen. He, of course, this is a big basketball star from the Chicago Bulls. So again, for anyone who liked that documentary, The Last Dance, apparently he has 2 million social media followers. So he's got a huge fan base. And this is his journey through family tragedy and how he became an unparalleled legend in the sport. White Feminism is coming in trade paperback. This is for fans of white fragility. This is looking at how we have let down women and how white women have let down Black women. And apparently there's a fair bit of Canadian content in here. Saving Us. This is a 75,000 copy first print. This is how to diffuse extremism, spur positive action, and win allies in the fight against climate change. She's apparently a star in her field. This is a very practical and optimistic book. Good Anxiety. This is a 75,000 copy first print. She's a world-renowned neuroscientist. And this is how to harness the power of anxiety into unexpected gifts. So how to turn our fear into a superpower. They're comparing this to Quiet. Rough Draft. Katie Tour is a big US media personality. This is a book that looks at the media circus surrounding Trump and COVID. She will get a lot of attention in the States. This is a 250,000 copy first print. You might check the track record of her previous book that was called Unbelievable. A new English translation for Being in Nothingness. We do have a simultaneous trade hardcover. Here She Was. This is one of those cool feminist histories that's all about the Miss America pageant. So it's coming up to its 100th anniversary this year. I would compare this to the Barbizon that we just published this summer, which has actually gotten some really nice review attention. And this will have photos throughout as well. The Duchess Countess. This is a 50,000 copy first print. We're expecting international reviews. This should appeal to fans of The Crown. And this is about Elizabeth Chudley, who went on trial for bigamy. Eat Right for Your Inflammation Type. I would compare this to Wheat Belly. Print run is 50,000 copy first print. The 17-day Kickstart Diet. This is a 100,000 copy first print. The 17-day diet was named the #2 diet of the decade after the Mediterranean diet. It is a very sort of moderate approach to weight loss and sort of promotes whole food and plant approach. So he will again get a lot of media, and this is a 3-step weight loss program. The Nazis Knew My Name. This is a 60,000 copy first print. This is a memoir of a Holocaust survivor who was at Auschwitz and was actually employed by the Nazis. And so she used her power to protect the other fellow prisoners at Auschwitz. She has now passed away, so her daughter is going to promote. Mellencamp is a 75,000 copy first print. This is a definitive biography of the rock and roller, and also apparently a great sort of tribute to the era. So you watch the Vietnam protests, the rise of the AIDS problem, the punk movement, and all that as well. So they're comparing it to Born to Run. Greedy is original trade paperback. So these are LGBTQ essays, hilarious and smart, looking at bisexuality, gender, and sex, ideal for fans of Lindy West. Cameraman, this is a 40,000 copy first print. This is from the revered chief film critic for Slate magazine, and it's looking at the life and legacy of Buster Keaton and the first 7 decades of film. There's already been New Yorker and New York Times interest, and we do think this has the potential to win awards. The Butterfly Effect is now in trade paperback. This is the first cultural biography of rap superstar Kendrick Lamar, who won the Pulitzer Prize in Music. And Vivian Meyer developed another one that I think is going to be a super cool package. This is sort of the definitive authorized biography about a master of street photography. She was unknown in her own lifetime. She was a nanny who just walked off the job one day, and apparently she died alone and impoverished. This book will actually have her photos throughout, so it'll be a really cool package. Ooh, got some interiors. We're now into the mass market, so there's not much to say here. I'll just scroll through them. Tough Customer is a reissue. Reissue for Blue Gold. This one did really well for us as a trade. Canadian author, The Arrangement. EC. AJ Banner is Canadian as well. I'll just let you guys pick and choose which ones you want. Kill and Tell is a reissue. And these are all reissues too, all these romances. And of course, because of Bridgerton, we're doing more of the period pieces. So after that, we get into the Adams Media stuff. I don't even know what time it is. So Nifty, this is the popular lifestyle site for BuzzFeed. And of course, organizational books always do nicely for New Year, New You. Totally Obsessed. This is basically just a book of lists about people's obsessions. So it's just one of those quirky impulse buys, and it gives you places where you can sort of jot down your own obsessions. And as I said, due to the popularity of Bridgerton, this will be a beautiful full color cookbook, very sort of lush period meals, just compared to the Downton Abbey, which we did so well with. The I Love My series always do quite nicely. They're full color packages. They're great price points. This is the follow-up to the cookbook. It also has maps of all the parks. Green Witch's Garden, she's a Montrealer. She's been a best-selling author for us. This is how to create your own witch's garden so that you can have harvest and do your own rituals. It'll be a beautiful package like all her other books have been. This is cocktails inspired by the moon. This is actually an anti-diet. It focuses on meditation and eating 3 fulfilling macronutrient dense meals with a daily treat as well, so you can stick to your plan. The Everything cookbooks, again, really popular, full color photos, good price points. For any stores that have game players, this is where you can keep track of all your characters and the treasures they've earned and whatnot. This is a good book for beginners. It will have full color illustrations throughout. This has been a popular series and we're hoping people will be back traveling again come the fall. This is Small Batch Baking. It has 175 recipes and it's full color. This is a guided journal. How to record your passions and your motivations and what you want to achieve. And again, a workbook for kindness. It is a learned trait. Wildlife is going to have really cool color nature photography throughout. They're sort of calling this a DK book for adults and filled with sort of really cool, interesting facts about the natural animal world. For your gamers, again, they're very keen about this. It's a full color package. And it's all about creating your own random encounters for game masters. Oh, Here's some interiors. Self-care for nurses. It's been one hell of a year, so they deserve all they can get. And this is just a place where you can record all your health information, and also has practical lists of things that you should do for better health, whether it be heart health or dealing with depression or those kinds of things. More everything cookbook. Pre-diabetes is one there's not a ton out there on the market, so might be worth bringing in. And micro weddings are now all the rage now that post-COVID and no one wants to have big gatherings. Again, popular series. Peter Menachie is a Canadian. This will be a lovely 2-color package. Here's Peter Menachie again, Canadian. Story of Grandma will be a lovely gifty package where you can record Grandma's stories to pass down through the generations. Instantly Mediterranean. This is a popular food blogger and Jewish food expert. This has 100 versatile recipes from Italy, Greece, Egypt, and Lebanon. And it covers all the popular appliances as well. And Healing Herbal Soups. This is actually quite a lovely package as well. The author is very connected, and this is how to boost your immune system as we head into flu season and actually leaving our houses again. Life's a Puppy Party. So this will be super cute. This is recipes for dog treats and how to throw a dog party and create costumes and fun stuff like that for your crazy dog people. The Modern Tiffin, Priyanka Naik is a rising star in the food world. The tiffin is kind of the equivalent of the bento box in Indian cuisine. So this is, again, going to be a full color package. It sort of focuses on vegan cuisine, but it does have global flavors. And Audienceology, this is one of those super interesting books. It's all about the secretive process of how movies get made and how they get released to the market at large, and the pre-audiences that they come in to hear sort of feedback and change things as a result. And yes, you can wear that. She's a plus size body influencer. So this is style tips and tricks. Great package for this. This is a good witchcraft book for beginners. Everything witch related has been selling like crazy in the last year. Don't know why, but this is a very trendy topic these days. This is a tarot deck. Pup Culture is by Paul Schaefer's daughter. So she's promoting fostering and adopting dogs. So there'll be lots of celebrity photos throughout here, including our very own Dan Levy. And Being Seen, I think, has a really good potential. This is a deafblind award-winning author, and she's looking at disability representation in the media. And she's a big popular sci-fi award-winning author as well. And another cocktail book that ties in with Broadway hits. It's got black, white, and red illustrations throughout. All right, that was the S&S front list. I have about an hour to run through some of the top distributed line titles. I guarantee you I won't get through all of them. We seem to keep adding more and more lines every season. But if you stick through the links for this to the end, you'll see sort of the key titles for the distributed lines. And then if you have to go into like a deep dive of graphic novels or test prep or anything like that, then you'll have to go back to the full catalog. But I did my best to curate the best of the best. Starting off with the annual Ripley's. So this comes out every Christmas and sells really nicely, comparable to the Guinness Book of World Records, but weirder stories. We have two new Wilbur Smith. Legacy of War is now in trade paperback. It's the follow-up to Courtney's War. And then we have New Kingdom, simultaneous editions, and this is a new Egyptian adventure. Now we're into Andrews and McMeel, starting off with their plethora of poetry selections that they do every year. We have a bunch at the beginning here that are sort of gifty editions. Langlev is one of our best-selling poets. This is a collection of poetry and prose, plus 35 new poems. It's a beautiful hardcover with a ribbon marker. Same with Playing with Matches. Michael Foderi is known for sort of erotic poetry. This is a collection of his best, as well as 35 new pieces. It has a linen binding and a ribbon marker. The Book of Healing, she is a Canadian Lebanese poet. We did very nicely with her previous selection. And this is a collectible treasury of her best poetry and prose. And these are about finding your inner power and finding your self-worth. Small Cures, this is a new collection from a British poet that's gone crazy on social media. Again, it'll be a nice little package with line drawings throughout. R.H. Sin and Robert Drake are back. Again, you can check your track record on him. They've done very nicely. It's a new collection of poetry and prose. I love this cover. Amanda Lovelace, again, is one of our best-selling poets. This is a standalone collection that explores femininity. This is an expanded version of a bestseller. These are about love and the human condition. New names for lost things. She's a award-winning Pakistani poet and visual artist. And this will also have her own artwork throughout the book. Love is Enough is coming out for Valentine's Day. This is a collection of classic poetry with illustrations. So this is your William Blake's and Christina Rossetti's. Please Love Me at My Worst. This is a Canadian poet from Brampton, Ontario, who is apparently a huge TikTok phenom. This is apparently one poem was read by 2 million people. So I expect this one to do quite nicely. Big voice for the LGBTQ market. Oddball. So this is your best-selling author of Sarah's Scribbles, which has been a mega bestseller for us. She's had previous several others since. These are really cute comic collections with flocking on the cover. We run out of these almost every single Christmas, so please order up. And then we have all our traditional comic collections, which again are always nice gifts for the holidays. This is Pearls Before Swine, Dilbert. This is Baby Blues, Sherman's Lagoon, Foxtrot, Mutts, Zits. Euphemisms that get on my you-know-whats. This is just funny lists of unusual facts. These always do well. Again, it's illustrated. Murder Book. This is a funny graphic novel from a New Yorker cartoonist. She's also a stand-up comedian, and this is about her obsession with true crime. The Fox's Tower and Other Tales. Yoon-Ha Lee is an award-winning sci-fi writer. This is a collection of flash fairy tales illustrated throughout. There's a lot of LGBTQ and gender-neutral content in here as well. Lovely package. Nom Nom Paleo is the follow-up to a bestseller. This is a internationally inspired umami-packed cookbook with keto-friendly, whole food, plant-based recipes. It has a very sort of tongue-in-cheek, snarky humor throughout, has these very graphic visuals throughout. The first one sold like crazy, so just bring it in and let it sell. Soup Club, 50 recipes for soups and stews, always does well at this time of year. Intergreen is an inspirational guide to houseplants, beautifully illustrated. Again, since we're all at home so much these days. No Regrets Parenting. This is a revised and updated edition. This is basically how to create special moments and impactful interactions with your kids. Let's talk about Down There's original trade paperback. There's actually already media interest in this book. So this is a shame-free illustrated guide to women's health. This is ideal for the teen market. This will be a bright, colorful package to inspire you to create change. So again, it's filled with mindfulness and visualization practices. This has been a popular series over the past year. And again, puzzle books just for the holidays when people are taking a break. These books from Andrews and McMeel, I finally got a sample in, and they're quite lovely. They're they have a bit of a Griffin and Sabine quality to them. They're illustrated packages with postcards and letters interspersed throughout the pages. They're not cheap, but they're great gifts. So we have Sense and Sensibility and Wuthering Heights this season. And then we have the three on the bottom there, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Jane Eyre available. Then we're into the Canterbury Classics. The ones that are $33.99 are the larger leather-bound ones with the gold edges and the ribbons. So we've got the Bronte sisters, Classic Tales of Mystery, Autobiography of Nikola Tesla. This 1919 one is a word cloud classic. So those are the ones with the flexi covers that sort of look leather-bound. And this is a word cloud classic as well. Free as a Jew. I don't know a ton about this book, but I do know that she was born and raised in, or she wasn't born, she was born in Europe, raised in Montreal, started the Jewish Studies program at McGill University. So we are expecting to get some media for her in Montreal. And this is her journeys through the Jewish faith and coming to terms with the limitations and the positive aspects it's brought to her life. For your more literary types, this is a in-depth look at Albert Camus by a top scholar. The Plague, of course, hit the bestseller list this year, New York Times. Very timely. The Mountbattens, again, for fans of The Crown. This is an intimate story of a unique marriage, spanning the heights of British glamour and power. Mountbatten actually introduced Prince Philip to Elizabeth. This is a collection of supernatural fiction from lesser-known female writers at the turn of the century. Great package, so very much for fans of Shirley Jackson. Blood and Iron, this is a vivid history of the Second Reich. It has full-color maps throughout. And then this is the final days of the Third Reich, of course, the Nazis. Now in paperback. This was a US plot to take down Vladimir Lenin during the Cold War. Has photos. This one just sounds very unique and different. This is a journey through the Tudor era through the five senses. Secret Life of Fungi. For whatever reason, everything mushroom related sells quite nicely. This has got black and white illustrations throughout. And it is just a full appreciation of mushrooms. The Embodied Mind. This is for readers of Andrew Solomon or Oliver Sacks, looking at the mind-body connection. A Prince and a Spy. This is a best-selling British author. This is historical spy thriller. I would say in the same vein as Joseph Cannon. Dark Room in Glitterball City. This should appeal to fans of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. William Boyle, he's a master of the noir thriller. Family Business. This is an Edgar Award-winning author. This is about a powerful Chinatown crime boss. Rizzio, this one sounds fun. This is a Scottish historical thriller. This is a multi-award-winning author, and it's about the murder of David Rizzo, private secretary to Mary Queen of Scots. The Woman Who Stole Vermeer is now in paperback. So this is an heiress turned revolutionary who pulled off a major art heist, the first woman to do so. This is the fourth in the Scottish cozy mystery series, the Highland Bookshop Mysteries. And Shadows in Time, this is in trade paperback. This is book 5 in the Time Travel Mysteries. She goes back to 1816 London in this one. Bam, and then it hit me. This is a big one for any art types. This is a history of the Brooklyn Academy of Music. It's filled with stories about all kinds of personalities, from Princess Diana to Paul Simon to Ingmar Bergman. They are planning to do a fair bit of media for the book. So for any theater and dance types, they might be totally into this book. It'll be a full color package. This is a new format for this book. It was longlisted for the Read Russia Prize. They describe this as 100 Years of Solitudes meets Chocolat. This is a beautiful package that's a history of the rose and all its cultural significance. We'll have color photographs throughout. The Longest Story, I think this one is going to get some review attention. It looks at the relationship between humans and animals since the dawn of times. Author is an award-winning book with 8 previous books to his credit. War in the Shadows is now in paperback, and it's looking at occupied France during World War II. Infectious, this is how pathogens cause disease and how we can protect ourselves. So it's filled with stories of immunology and virology, of course, a timely read. The Invisible Universe, this is apparently a very poetic read. It's a history of galactic exploration and all the mind-bending new technologies. Trans, this is a book about gender identity politics. She has strong media contacts. She writes for The Economist. This is now in trade paperback. It's a history of Notre Dame Cathedral, why it means so much to us, and its defining moments in history. A Thing of Beauty, Peter Fines is an award-winning journalist and travel writer. This is his journeys through Greece and her mythology. This is just a fun, lighthearted approach to classics. I have a couple of art books in here, which aren't going to be for everyone. They're not cheap. The Lu Yi is a coffee table book he uses work that celebrates books as an art form. Books as art in its objective form. And then Mama Anderson, this is a popular Swedish artist, and just for anyone who's crazy about Carl Ove Knausgaard, the art theory is all through him. This has been a really popular series, so these are classic works on art theory in paperback. Eater of Darkness, this is a book that's been out of print for years. He went on to become the art critic at The New Yorker. This is a work of surrealist fiction. And then we have our Chicken Soup for the Soul books. Christmas one always does really well each year. Night on Earth is going to be a gorgeous photography book. Art Wolf is an award-winning photographer. These are photos from dusk to dawn taken around the world that promotes environmentalism. Growing Consciousness, this explores the links between spirituality and the garden. And there is a focus on Ayurvedic technique and meditation. This one should be a really cool, fun package. They're comparing this to The Boy, the Mole, and the Fox. The author is a social media sensation, was actually, Kristen Bell recently promoted him on her Instagram feed. I would compare this to Winnie the Pooh, and it will have illustrations. Ram Dass, this is a distillation of the last 5 decades of his life and wisdom. And then we also have a companion journal. Then the classic Bhagavad Gita, nice new edition. We're now into wisdom, which is the Buddhist books. What I Don't Know About Death is original trade paperback. This is part memoir, part philosophy, part essential life lessons. They're comparing this to When Breath Becomes Air. And then we have the new book from the Dalai Lama. He's distilling his life's work into, I believe he said it was going to be 12 volumes in all. This is now in trade paperback. So this is like the important stages of the Buddhist path. Awake, Where Are You is original trade paperback. Author is an active teacher, and this is about living an embodied life with greater happiness, presence, and peace. Tibetan yoga, this is a little different from Indian yoga. So there's just a new approach to the practice. And the 6 Imperfections. Again, Rinpoche is one of the more popular teachers. This is now in trade paperback. Addict in the Family's original trade paperback. This is an update on a recovery classic. Has very solid, actionable advice. Thriving Life. This is a Toronto author. She has a top-ranked family channel on YouTube. And this is a book about resilience and has coping strategies for hard times, which I think we can say the last year has been a hard time. Next Chance You, this is original trade paperback. This is from the breakout star of Netflix's hit docuseries Last Chance You. And this is a book about moving beyond failure to find success. She's expecting to get major media. And apparently she's already sold film rights to her life story. Fall in Love, Have Children, Stay Put, Save the Planet, Be Happy. This is a response to the COVID year and how people are learning how to put life before work. This is original trade. They say it's spiritual at times, but not religious. Chicken Little, The Sky Isn't Falling. This is about, this is a parent's guide to dealing with anxiety in their kids. And then we have some Mayo Clinic books tying in with specific conditions. Live Younger, Longer is original trade. It's by a renowned cardiologist. We have 2 new Kinfolk magazines. Into the Victory Belt. I know these are the cookbooks that are always quite pricey, but they do get some really strong media attention. They're always full color, gorgeous packages. I've just put in sort of their top titles. Short Term Keto has a 28-day meal plan to find your carb threshold. That's by a nutritionist, personal coach, and health coach. Plants First, this is original trade. This is approachable science lessons that explain why eating more plants are beneficial and how to get more plants into your diet. And Body by Breath, this is also original trade paperback. This is how to harness your breath for optimal physical, mental, and emotional health, how it helps with pain recovery, indigestion, etc. Now we're into the Reader's Digest books. These are pretty straightforward as well. The Farmhouse Family Dinners is one of their lead titles. It's 200 recipes, full color throughout, filled with heartwarming stories of dining with your family. This is straightforward, an all-encompassing reference book. For your appliances and people who will be giving new appliances this Christmas. And these are always popular because you can get the meal on the table fast and easily. So straightforward. 100 instant fixes. The health books always do really well for Reader's Digest. So this has 1,200 plus secrets to help boost your health, break bad habits, sharpen your memory, cure heartburn, etc. So now we're into Weldon Owen. Shot is one of their lead titles. Mick Rock is a photographer best known for photographing David Bowie during his Aladdin Sane era, though he's still a working photographer. So this is his photos throughout his career and comes right up into, you know, Taylor Swift and people like that. Relics is going to be a really cool package. This is a history of the world told through rare fragments. Again, we'll have full color photos throughout. So you have things from Dracula's home and stuff. Mental Floss is a popular website. We had a book on books last year. So this is a tie-in journal for book lovers. And then we also have Mental Floss, the Curious Viewer, that's all about favorite picks from the TV and movie world. Clever, this was a best-selling cookbook that they've now revised and expanded. It now has updated photography. It now has more plant-based diet recipes. It has 50 new recipes. Also includes holiday entertaining now. Drinks for every season, beautiful package. They're comparing it to the Downton Abbey cocktail book. It has both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and it's organized by season. A box set for these 2 best-selling cookbooks for the holidays. Art and Soul of Dune, the movie is finally coming. It was supposed to come out last fall. Of course, Denis Villeneuve is a Montrealer, so expect this to do quite well. This is a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the masterpiece. Kevin Smith's Secret Stash, again, this is going to be a big deal. It's going to get a lot of attention. It's a 50,000 copy first print. It's basically the first full-out biography of Kevin Smith, the filmmaker. He has a huge cult following. It's very introspective, covers his entire career. And Tech Noir, James Cameron, again, Canadian filmmaker. This is his work on Alien and Avatar and Terminator, etc. Tarantino, this is an update of a classic on his career. This is now includes information on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know shit about Fuck. This is one that we think could be a real sleeper this season. This is a tie into Ozark, the hit Netflix series. And these are the words of wisdom from Ruth Langmore, who's a foul-mouthed but incredibly savvy entrepreneur. Art of Graham Nash, of course, this is Nash of Crosby, Stills and Nash. So this is his photography and artworks through a 50-year career. So this is super expensive, but it's Matthew Reinhardt, paper engineer, who has a huge collector's market. And of course, there is a new Jurassic World movie coming out. And for your uber Harry Potter fans, there's a now box set that's sort of an in-depth look at the films. It's organized by subject. So like there's one volume on the creatures and one volume on the magic spells, etc. So I sent out an email previously about the advent calendars and how the Friends advent calendar last year sold out in like a week, and then nobody could get any the entire season. So they have healthily increased their print runs, and they've also increased the offerings this year. But just a warning that is a very good chance you might just get one shot at your order. So try to order up what you think you can sell for the season. The Friends one has all new trinkets and whatnot. So even somebody who got it last year can get this year. We have Harry Potter, Star Wars. The Home Alone one has a pop-up tree and then ornaments that you open up each day to hang on the tree, and so it's reusable year after year. This is based on a popular video game. Marvel, which of course is massively successful these days, huge franchise. And Batman. These are, I've got 2 decks of affirmational cards. We've got Harry Potter, How to Live a Life with Heroism, and then Alice in Wonderland. The official Guinness cookbook. So this is the first cookbook they've ever created. It's based on their 260-year legacy. Apparently they pour 10 million pints a day, I guess during non-COVID years. This has 60 recipes based on traditional Irish cuisine for every meal of the day. And Fantastic Fungi, this ties in with the award-winning documentary of the same name. As I said, everything mushroom related seems to sell really well, and the documentary is now streaming on Apple TV. Then we have some fun gifty stuff for the holidays. So these are the in-world cookbooks that they do. Just as a reminder, like the World of Warcraft, we sold 60,000 copies of. Like these are super popular for fans of these licenses. We have Friends. We have a gift set that comes with an apron. It's a Wonderful Life. It's the 75th anniversary this year. This is very traditional cuisine, which will be nice. And then we have a gift set that comes with a bell for when Clarence gets his wings. Star Wars, pretty straightforward. Tomb Raider is based on global cuisine. And again, it's sort of an in-world cookbook, so it's through her voice. This is a gift set. I'm not even sure what you get with this. I think it's an apron, not sure. Nightmare Before Christmas, we've done really well with everything Nightmare Before Christmas related. This one also comes with an apron. Now we're into sort of the craft and entertaining books. The Harry Potter stuff is done really well. The packages are really gorgeous, full color. So this is how to create your own Harry Potter party. So there's games and decorations and meals and snacks and stuff. And then the Knitting Magic, this is a follow-up to a bestseller. The designs are gorgeous. And now this year they're doing Knitting with Disney, which I think is a great idea for all those grandmothers who will be, you know, knitting princess slippers and stuff this season. This is a tie into a popular video game. It's a actual practical survival manual with a faux leather jacket. This Wand Magic is an interactive package, so it has things that actually pull out of the book, letters and postcards and things, but it is a guide to all the different wands in the franchise. And then we have coloring books for all the houses. And Insight Editions has now launched a proper sort of stationery sideline. They're all quite lovely. I'm happy to get samples for anyone who wants to take a look at more closely. So we've got 3 undated planners: Self-Care, Friends, and Harry Potter. These are like your ink blotters, beautifully illustrated with places where you can put down your to-do list. The Tree of Gratitude and Tree of Self-Care, these are gifty packages that again have a pop-up tree and then daily activities that you pull out. You do the activity and then you put the activity on the tree so that you see it's done. These are journals that come with little mini scented candles. And then we have 2 sleep journals. This one is a larger format, and this one is a smaller format. This is a box of note cards. And then we have some jigsaw puzzles, because everyone has jigsaw puzzles these days. This is a 500 piece, note that, it's slightly smaller. These ones have books that tie in with the puzzle and also is in a collectible gift box. We have candles. These are scented. Uncle John's Hindsight. This is a perennial seller that comes out every year. This is just a book of trivia. Escape room puzzles, which are, as I said, I'm always a fan of. Good for stocking stuffing. This is a book of trivia that's organized by category. So we've got sections on history, geography, science, etc. That's illustrations. Disney Plus has just made the announcement that they're doing a sequel to Hocus Pocus. So this has got even more cachet now. This is a full color in-world cookbook to the cult hit film. And for your true crime fans, a cocktail book inspired by true crime cases. This is original trade paperback. All I'm going to say is apparently she's known as the butt whisperer, and apparently she's hired an outside publicist for media. Previous edition of this one sold 35,000 copies. It's a perennial seller, just to help you manage your diabetes and test your control your blood sugar. For those witchcraft sections that I say that are booming these days, this is how to read your tea leaves. a beautiful tarot deck. This one they say will appeal to a younger audience. So it's all about the benefits of yoga, exercise, and Tibetan philosophy. They're quite keen about the Magical Girl's Guide to Life. This is a paper over board. It's a manga-inspired self-help guide to help you find and harness your inner power, promotes diversity and girl power. Very gifty package. This is how to increase your productivity. This has been a popular series that they're relaunching as people begin to travel again. This is easy projects designed to soothe your anxiety. Author is a popular social media influencer. This is a companion to one of Ulysses Press best-selling books ever. So this is an actual sketchbook with tips and tricks on how to draw dragons. And then we have Drawing People. For all your RuPaul Drag Race fans, these are cross-stitch patterns for drag queens. This is about hair dye. And then Shit Happens is a coloring book tying in with our popular award-winning Canadian television series. Should be a great stocking stuffer this year. For your fans of The Crown, there's a new series, a new season coming. Meat to the Side, this is a Victory Belt title. This is a beginner's guide to adding more vegetables to your diet. Full color, easy recipes. It will actually cover all the different range of dietary needs as well. Instant Pot, we love our Instant Pot. I highly recommend them, they're great. This is straightforward. Inside Secret Society, so it looks at the Knights Templar, Illuminati, the Freemasons. This is a guided journal. It's got a flexi binding ribbon marker, and it has simple meditation, yoga, breathing, and gratitude exercises. They did one for Easter, and they say it was their best-selling title ever, so they're doing a coloring book for Christmas. This is another big deal for us. This is being published with a joint publication with the UK. This is the complete lyrics of the Beatles. It's a full color package, and there is a new documentary coming out in August. Then we have all these super cute felt and crochet kits that come with the materials to actually make the projects. They do really well every year. They're super duper adorable. Bob Ross Rocks comes with actual river rocks that you can paint. Paper models. This is actually a really cool package as well. So this is like the etch and sketch ones where you scratch away the black layer to reveal the color. Tarot coloring, this is actually a Canadian author, and you can color your own tarot deck and pop it out and start. It also has the explanations for the arcana. Word search. The puzzles can actually be done right in the book. And then these are sticker books. Again, just fun activities for the holidays. This series used to be oversized and didn't fit on the shelf very well. They've now made them normally sized, which should help. We have the World Almanac, of course, comes out every year, does quite nicely. We also have a simultaneous hardcover for anyone who needs. Black Genius, so this is just a history of Black Americans who have made an impact on the world. And this is just a reminder, I sold this to you in the summer presentation, just a reminder that there's a new season now of Lupin on Netflix, and it's fantastic. And these are the stories that inspired it. And as far as I've been told, it's not available in French right now. So this is the only way to get it. This is straightforward. This is original trade paperback. Hot cocoa bombs were all the rage last year, and they were incredibly expensive. So here you can pay $24.99 and make your own and give them as gifts. Slovenian cuisine. This actually won the Gourmand Cookbook Award. Apparently, it's a gorgeous high-end package, full color throughout, and it's a love letter to the region as well. And the author is an internationally renowned chef. Super simple keto. This is paper over board. This is simple meal plans with recipes that use 6 ingredients or less. Full color. Basically recipes that have better protein so that you can lose weight as well. This is one of those super cool books that has recipes, excuse me, for drinks that will change color or smoke or flame or something like that. So everything that sort of transforms into something else, which I think is super cool. Who doesn't want more meatballs in their diet? This is full of basic tips for beginners by one of Sweden's best known green cooking personalities. Also has 60 recipes. Everyday Heart Healthy. This is original trade. This has 75 recipes for heart health. Eat Skinny, Be Skinny is original trade. This is a perfect fad-free cookbook for a balanced weight loss program, coming just in time for the holidays. These are 25 recipes inspired by Star Wars, Pokemon, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and more. This is a place where you can record babies' milestones. Craft book and macrame, which has been quite trendy these days too. Mensa puzzles and jokes. This is an inspirational treehouse book, so it's filled with full color photography. Your inner zoo sounds really cool too. Again, it's going to have line drawings throughout. It's a what animal behavior can teach us about ourselves. And Autism and Heals is now in trade paperback. This is a memoir about being diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome as an adult. It has a Temple Grandin quote on the cover. Godjul, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but this is a celebration of the Swedish traditions of Christmas. This has been a popular series. It's original trade. Moms Don't Have Time to Have Kids. This is hardcover, but she has a very big podcast format or audience, I should say. She's hired an outside PR firm to publicize this, and these are funny essays about parenting, also with lots of practical information. Straightforward survival guide. A classic on fly fishing. This is another classic from the 1880s on how to track. We're bringing back this series again too. So this is the series that's written by locals. So they have all the best restaurants to go to and whatnot. The lesser known secrets of these places. They did say New York was their bestseller. Raphael, Painter in Rome is now in trade paperbacks. This is a art historical thriller. Has very rich settings, very atmospheric read. And Garrison Keillor, this came out in hardcover this past year. This is his classic town as they face the COVID outbreak. This one won the Irish Book Award. This is a perfect read for fans of Agatha Christie. And Apropos of Nothing, of course, was a very controversial release. No one wanted to publish it, and then Skyhorse decided to pick it up. It did sell quite nicely for us in hardcover. So this is a look back on his life and career. Quite honest and frank. Wild Ride Home is now in trade paperback. This is a memoir about dealing with a loved one's dementia. Field Guide to Demons, Vampires, Fallen Angels. This is a bestseller on their backlist that they have now put into a gift edition. So this is from traditions from all around the world. Being Online, this is by a pioneer in cloud computing, works for sort of the Chinese Google, so should know a thing or two. Through the Glass Ceiling to the Stars. This might be too American. I love the package. The cover is by Annie Leibovitz. She's a trailblazer and role model, first woman to command a space station. For fans of The Crown, Corgi Crafts. This is now in trade paperbacks. This is how to understand techniques and symbolism in painting so that you can better appreciate them. Classic, new edition. This is a follow-up to a book that was a bestseller for us last year. She was a huge promoter. She was on Rachel Ray for the first book. And Amish Christmas Cookbook. I mean, the Amish are known for their baking, so this could do quite nicely. It's 100 authentic recipes. Pasta. Popular series, very timely. Then we get into the Bain stuff. I only just put in the 3 key mass markets here. This is a fun stocking stuffer again. This is for D&D players, but it's got a sort of a humor book with pets playing D&D. This is a lead title. No, I can't even remember where I am. Lead title for Solaris. This is Gothic literary horror. And this is a world in which all lies written down become truth. Ideal for fans of Stephen King or Joe Hill. Splinter King is the follow-up to The Black Coast that did really nicely for us. This is a very R.R. Martin-like read, filled with great world building. And this has also been a best-selling series for us, authors from Ottawa. It's the third in the series, action-packed sci-fi adventure. Shackled Fates is the follow-up to Northern Wrath. It's original trade paperback. This is a Norse-inspired epic fantasy anthology. The Sculptor, this one they describe as a mix between Hannibal meets Black Mirror. Very cool package on this one. It's original trade. Another anthology, editor is Ellen Datlow, who's well known. This is a book that was previously out of print. This is an Italian master. Again, it's being compared to Shirley Jackson. Contains 2 novellas, 2 short stories, and a dystopian teleplay. The Naked World, this is a Canadian now living in Japan. This is the second in the Jubilee cycle. And then I did put in more of the Marvel books from Aconite, since there's been so much popularity of the Marvel stuff these days. We also really do well with the Arkham horror books from Aconite. They always have really nice covers on them. You can't see them here, unfortunately. Descent, this of course ties in with the very popular game. There's a major new game expansion coming. And this is a magical city dealing with a demonic monstrosity. More Marvel. This is a new series. This is a zombie horror apocalypse that's based on a popular game. More Arkham horror. Then we get into the graphic novels. I've got 10 minutes. I won't be able to get through everything, but I'll talk for a little bit. 80 Days is a fantasy. It's a world where the truth changes as quickly as the clouds in the sky, and a pilot must decide what freedom is. It's beautifully illustrated. Jim Henson's The Storyteller is pretty straightforward. This is 4 tales of mythological creatures up to mischief. Blackout is original trade paperback. This is by a Ubisoft concept artist. It's the first in a trilogy. The comic book sold out almost immediately, and it's about an 8-year-old trapped in the supermarket who's battling the monsters that come out at night. Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. This is a more literary one. Author is a critically acclaimed director and screenwriter. And this is an Iranian vampire story. This one's a big deal. It's by Keanu Reeves. He's already got a movie in production. He's going to do a ton of publicity. I gather it's quite violent. Be aware of that. But because it's Keanu Reeves, the people will come out of the woodwork looking for it. Buffy is straightforward. Dune is straightforward. As I said, the movie is coming out this Christmas. Firefly has a popular following. Magic, this is the new series. Of course, this is based on the popular Magic the Gathering card game. There is an animated Netflix film coming as well. Origins is original trade paperback. This is Irish fantasy. The Last Witch, Fear and Fire is original trade paperback. This is a teen graphic fantasy. This is a brand new series. It's a young girl who must embrace her secret magical powers to save everyone she loves. It's going to be one of a 2-book series. Motorhead. So this is the story of their rise to fame in a graphic novel format. History of science fiction. This is a hardcover. It illustrates the history of the genre from the 1800s to the present. This is original trade paperback. It's set in medieval Japan. Apparently it has sold over 120,000 copies worldwide. So this is sort of a deluxe edition with new illustrations and a bonus art section. Lugosi, this one's coming out for Halloween. It's original trade paperback. Painted, this is by a UK indie rock musician, deals with bullying, violence, and the power of friendship, and has a really strong female lead. And again for Halloween, by a popular TV writer. Orcs in Space is an original trade paperback. This is by the co-creator of Rick and Morty. So this is wildly funny, absurd fantasy set in deep space, similar to Rick and Morty. Speaking of which, Upgrade Soul. This is a much more literary graphic novel. This is a collector's edition of a sci-fi classic. It has an intro by Darren Aronofsky, the director of Black Swan, who has also bought film rights to the story. Agretsuko is a popular series on Netflix, I believe. People Inside, this is a Toronto author. This is a special reissue. Each page in the book tells a different person's story. More Rick and Morty. Canopus, this is original trade paperback. This is a psychological sci-fi story about an astronaut marooned. Yasmin, this is more literary. It's original trade paperback. It's about an Iraqi girl struggling to survive slavery in an ISIS terrorist regime. Also has an immigration slant to it. Long Lost is original trade paperback. Again, they're calling this a literary graphic fantasy. It's a surreal, dark slice of life story in the vein of Junji Ito's Uzumaki. The Mall is original trade paperback. They describe this as The Breakfast Club meets Goodfellas. Has an 80s setting, and it's about a family and having to fit in with a family of mobsters. Sorry, I'm checking the time here. I know I'm running out. Solar Flare. This is original trade paperback. This is about a solar flare that hits Earth and wipes out all electricity. So it's a fun dystopian. It's the first in a series. And The Resistance is a follow-up to a bestseller by the creator of Babylon 5. I like the look of Run the Dungeon. This is a hardcover though. It's a fantasy about an average young man stuck in an endless dungeon. Critically acclaimed author. Should appeal to all your video game types. And then for rock and roll fans, you got a story about the rise and fall of Blondie. I shouldn't say fall. She didn't fall. She never fell. The Rise of Blondie. It's the 45th anniversary of the band this year. This is like a footsteps in the sand kind of a story. And this is basically looking at what we need to succeed in the future, which are all the soft skills that make us different from machines. Then we just have a couple of Barron's titles. And then the rest is all the manga stuff. So again, I've just pulled out the key manga titles. I'm not going to go through them all. Of course, there's a new Animal Crossing, which is a big deal. The other one I will point out is that there's a Demon Slayer box set for the holidays. Viz is having a really hard time keeping books in stock right now because they've been so popular during the lockdowns. So whatever you think you need for the holidays, don't be shy, order in. For instance, this box set, you will probably get one kick at it before the holidays, and then you'll have to wait for reprints. So, and that goes for all the books. Deserter, of course, is Junji Ito, who is our horror manga master, who sells like crazy. He's got a huge collector market. Otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward with all your best known series. If you have any questions at all about any of these, you need to know more, you know where to find me. Yeah, I'm going to just stop there. I'll leave you guys to it. This one, I should actually mention, the Creative Gene. This is if you did Ask Iwata, it's the same sort of deal. So it's a business book from Viz. And that is the Simon & Schuster adult fall list. Thanks, everybody.